My name is Greg Woodard, and this is my cell cycle modeling video. The cell cycle consists of 4 stages: G1, S phase, G2, and M phase. There are 3 checkpoints that occur during the cell cycle, and those checkpoints ensure that proper progression occurs during the cell cycle. Chromosomes are represented by these things right here, and are double helix DNA molecules that are wrapped around histone proteins. During the cell cycle, 3 of the 4 stages are a part of interphase, which are G1, S phase, and G2. It is when the cell does normal everyday tasks. G1 phase occurs right after cell division, is when the cell begins to grow. S phase is when DNA begins to replicate. G2 phase is when the cell begins to grow even more and then prepares to go into mitosis, or M phase. M phase, or mitosis, is when the cell divides from the mother cell into 2 identical daughter cells, which that's the end product. There are 6 stages in mitosis, which is prophase, prometaphase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, and cytokinesis. Prophase is when the cell, prophase is right here, it's when the cell begins to, prophase is when chromatins condense into chromosomes and the nucleus begins to disappear. Bipolar spindles begin to develop, which are right there. Prometaphase is right there, which is when the nuclear envelope breaks, microtubes attached to the kinetochores and centromere region. Spindle fibers attached to the centromeres, chromosomes begin moving. Next is metaphase, which is represented right here. And during metaphase is when chromosomes move to the middle of the centromeres, and then the centrioles move to opposite ends of the cell. Next is anaphase, which is when chromatids separate and the cell begins to elongate. During telophase, which is represented right here, the nuclear envelope begins to reform around the sets of chromosomes. Chromatin becomes less dense. It is also when cytokinesis begins. During cytokinesis, in animal cells, the process is called cleavage, which is when the cell membrane pinches to form 2 cells. In plant cells, the process is called cell plate. It's when all the organelles begin to move to the sides and a cell wall begins to form, and then the cells just separate. At the end of mitosis, or M phase, the cell enters G0 phase, which is the phase where the cell does not prepare for division or divide. It is just doing its everyday task.